How you doing, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I am bringing you my Soul Level 125 Midkumo Fight Club highlights. Now, I did mention in the video where I introduced this build that it would be my main setup for a while, and that I would be doing regular updates as I get better using it and get better at understanding the mechanics and the tech of Dark Souls Remastered. So take this one as part 1 of that series. Now, I am still learning, so I'm still pretty new to the game, and I have a lot of residual Dark Souls 3 habits, unfortunately, like rolling. You'll see me roll here for no goddamn reason whatsoever, and I think that's just because, you know, Dark Souls 3 is a lot more roll-oriented, so I have to sort of, you know, get that out of my playstyle completely. But yeah, in saying that, shout out to all the Discord boys for all these fight clubs. You guys are awesome. And if you guys are interested in the Discord PvP server, I've actually included a link in the description below. We've got players from all platforms that play all the games in this series, so it's not just Dark Souls Remastered. So if you guys want to check out some like-minded players and are interested in the PvP dueling scene, I do suggest you check out the Discord. The link is below. Now, basically, this video is going to cover, you know, what tech I see my opponents use and some of the tech that I try to pull off as well. I'm also going to be going over some of the mistakes I made in a few of these matches and what you should do instead in those situations, as well as going through, you know, some of the stuff I did well. And we're also going to be talking about the pros and cons of the Midkumo setup. So here we go. Alright, so in this match you'll see me, you know, get used to my mid-roll first. I am using a mid-roll build, and you'll see me pull off some good rolls here to avoid Shy's Claymore. In saying that, I do roll, you know, a little bit too much in my opinion, and just like I mentioned before, it's because of the residual Dark Souls 3 playstyle. You know, you roll a lot more in that game. So if you are coming from Dark Souls 3 though, I think in my opinion, you should probably try a fast roll build first, just because it's a little bit easier to get used to instead of going straight into a mid-roll, you know, in the beginning. But that's up to you. I mean, that's what I did. I started off with a fast roll build first and then moved into a mid roll, and I'm still learning the timings, of course. Now, I also need to work on integrating kicks more with my Great Combustion wake-ups. I feel like I should kick more when I do backstab someone on the wake-up and then go into a Great Combustion. So I'll be working on that also. And on top of that, I'm not really used to my Gold Tracer swaps yet either. So I really need to learn when to swap to that Gold Tracer and take advantage of stuff like, for example, you know, toggles and poise backstabs and all that. So yeah, good game. Alright, next match here against Karak Tarantula and his Flip Chaos Blade build, which is one of the top meta builds in the game for duels. Great backstab there by Karak. And you'll see me here use, you know, standstill and shield up as a technique to avoid getting chain backstabbed. Now, I've included a link in the description below to a video by a YouTuber called Carly that covers backstab chain escapes. I do suggest that if you are a newer player and are having trouble escaping those chain backstabs, that you check that video out. I do think it is essential viewing for a new player, as, you know, backstabs are a big thing in this game and you want to be able to escape them when a player tries to abuse you with them. Good game there by Karak. If I had just spammed that Kumo R1 there, I would have taken that from him. GG. Alright, rematch against Karak Tarantula, and I open up here with a backstab. Now, the Midkumo setup using the Hornet Ring is basically a crit fishing build, so you really have to work on getting good at those backstabs, and it's something I really need to work on improving, as well as I'm not the best at going for backstabs, especially with toggle swaps and poise backstabs and the like. I also need to work on my pivots as well to increase that backstab game. And here, for example, I go for these really stupid neutral R1s, and in my mind it's because I was trying to bait Karak into the swings of the Kumo, similar to how you would in Dark Souls 3 when you're going for hyper armor trades, but that doesn't work well at all here for Dark Souls Remastered. Karak could have easily just gone behind me for those roll backstabs, but over here you will see me actually use the range and the wide arc of the Kumo to prevent Karak Tarantula from going for a roll backstab. So he was actually using a reverse roll there to backstab me, and the range of the Kumo there acted as a really good backstab cancel. Now, even though they removed dead angles from this game, the range and the wide arc of the Kumo can still get you out of those situations. If used effectively, you can escape some of those backstabs in those situations. And in this match, I'm just getting used to my poise basically and going for those unlocked Kumo R2s and R1s, and using my poise here to take out Shy. Good game. Alrighty, so in this match I'm going up against Infian, who I believe, in my opinion, is the best player on the Xbox at the moment. He's the most experienced and the most practiced with all the tech, so he absolutely destroys me in this match, but it's a good opportunity to talk about some stuff. Like over here I use standstill and then going into the Great Combustion after he whiffed his R1, And honestly, if I had just spammed that Great Combustion a little bit more, that match would have been mine. So again, it's about learning, when to use Great Combustion, when to spam it effectively, and I also want to integrate my kicks a lot more. I don't kick enough in this game to go for stuns. I really need to practice that, and I also need to get Black Flame in this build also for the poise damage. So that's something you'll see in future, with me improving on. Great parry there by Infian, but he he was a bit slow there. And you see him going for those reverse rolls again to try and backstab me. Now, I don't know why I did that. That was a free backstab, so yeah, good game, man. Alright, let's go over some pros and cons of the Midkumo setup now. With the pros, it basically out backstabs every other build in the game except for, I think, the Great Club. So do take a Hornet Ring and get used to or practice your crit fishing game. The damage is absolutely crazy on a Crystal Midkumo, as you see here. You do get quite a lot of poise to play around with, so get used to your breakpoints, your poise trades, and your poise backstabs. That's something that you really need to take advantage of when using the Midkumo. And you also have the option to swap to so many different builds. I mean, you can go to S-Stock Turtle, Pike, Halberd, even Flip, depending on how fast you are at swapping. And I do feel that armor, ring, and weapon swapping in Dark Souls Remastered is a lot more integral to the dueling scene than it is for Dark Souls 3. Or I should say it's a lot more essential, so it's something that I really need to work on here, as I feel it will improve my game substantially. So yeah, you will see updates in future with me, trying out all those swaps. Now, in terms of cons, I do feel that mid-roll takes quite a while to get used to, especially if you're just coming from Dark Souls 3, and there are some nasty counters out there to mid-roll. For example, fighting a desync mid-mage is a nightmare on mid-roll, at least for me so far. So yeah, there is that. Now, as I mentioned before, if you are coming from Dark Souls 3, I do suggest, personally, that you start off with a fast roll build first, as it's a little bit easier to get used to than going into mid-roll straight up. On top of that, dead angles are gone, so the only way of damaging a turtle is to backstab. But in saying that, the Kumo still has those wide swings or that wide hitbox arc. So like you saw before, when used, effectively, you can do something like, backstab cancels with that wide arc, for example. And finally, I do feel that your attacks are actually, quite slow, obviously, with the Midkumo. So you really need to get used to your own speed also. Fighting the good old game economist here. I think he was just cosplaying at the moment for one of his invasion videos. But yeah, good game, man. Opening up with a backstab here against Shy Guy. Now, I tried to use a parry buffer here to chain backstab him, but Shy Guy actually escaped there. Now, it's either I messed up my timing there with the parry buffer and botched it, or he barrel rolled, which is a possibility, or it could have just been his flip that helped him evade the chain backstab there. But anyways, that was some good shit. That was a good escape there by Shy. Great match. Alright, going up against Bappard in this match, and basically I included this match here just to highlight the importance of me learning how to, or when to swap to the Gold Tracer effectively. It's something I'm still working on, but you'll see here that I do a pretty good, or I pull off a pretty good Gold Tracer swap in my opinion to finish Bappard off, using my poise just to punch through him there for the victory. Good game. Alright, so I mentioned escaping chain backstabs earlier, and I've provided a link in the description below to a video explaining that, or explaining the tech that you can use. But what if your opponent is just constantly trying to backstab fish? For me personally, what I do is, if my opponent is approaching me, obviously going for a backstab, I'll just backpedal with my shield up to prevent them doing that. But if they are approaching you without a shield, you can also kick them to stun them away and go into a backstab yourself, or use something like Great Combustion or Black Flame to get them out of your face. Just don't panic, guys. Don't panic, and R1 mash or roll mash, because they will backstab you. Alright guys, final fight of the video. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, hit that like button. If you're enjoying my content, please subscribe. And as always guys, thank you for watching. So it looks like we're up against a Havel Dad here with a Crystal Zweihander. And we're both trying to backstab fish, but like I mentioned before, just backpedal with your shield there to get out of the way, or to prevent them from going for that backstab. Now here I blocked Dark Bead, which was a mistake. I just need to get used to my roll timings instead. Unless you're using something like the Havel Great Shield, And here I just botched my approach completely. I tried to go for a toggle escape and I botched that as well. Now with toggle escapes, I really need to learn how to toggle on my opponent's first hit. So that was, yeah, just a complete mistake on my part, something I need to work on. But a good Gold Tracer swap here for the finish. GG. Until next time, guys.